Welcome to What the Tech, the show that cuts right through the hype. Okay, OpenAI is moving at a blinding pace with its new product, Blitz. So we gotta ask, are they building a better future for all of us? Or are they just pulling off the single biggest power grab in the history of the internet? All right, let's get into it.
This is really the core question, isn't it? Because once you strip away all the slick demos and the breathless headlines, a very different picture starts to take shape. And honestly, it looks a lot less like friendly innovation and a whole lot more like a hostile takeover. So on the surface, what do we see? An explosion of creativity, right? I mean, in a ridiculously short amount of time, OpenAI has gone from being just the ChatGPT company to something, well, something much, much bigger. They're just launching product after product, basically invading completely new territories.
I mean, just look at this list. First, a web browser, Atlas, designed to take on Google. Then, boom, a social network, Sora, that's already flying up the charts. Then they build an entire app platform right inside of ChatGPT, making it a direct competitor to the app stores. They've even baked in a shopping experience with giants like Walmart and Shopify. And, as if that wasn't enough, they're working on their own hardware. This isn't just a product launch, it's a full-scale invasion.
And this quote right here is the hard take. This isn't just a company finding its way or diversifying. No way. This is a calculated, incredibly aggressive strategy. It's called vertical integration, and it's a playbook designed to own and control every single layer of your digital life.
So let's reframe this whole thing. This is not a random collection of new, cool products. What you're looking at is a coordinated assault on the very foundations of the internet. Every single launch is a chess move in a much, much bigger game for control.
For anyone not familiar with the term, vertical integration is basically when one company decides it wants to own the entire supply chain. So in this case, OpenAI isn't just making the AI models anymore. No, it's also building the browser you use, the social network you scroll, the app store you download from, and maybe even the device you hold in your hand. They want it all. So here's the absolute crux of it. The real prize here is controlling the internet's choke points. You know, how you discover new things, where you spend your attention, how services get distributed to you, and of course, where you spend your money. See, if one company gets to sit on top of all of those points, it's no longer just a player in the market. It becomes the market.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Let's deconstruct these moves one by one. Because when you peel back the slick marketing talk, you start to see the raw strategic goal behind every single one of these products.
This table really lays out the playbook, doesn't it? Atlas isn't just another browser. It's a way to hijack the gateway to the web itself, making sure OpenAI's own services are always front and center. Sora isn't just for fun videos. It's about industrializing synthetic media. The app platform? That's what you call a vendor trap, giving them the power to kill off entire app categories overnight. And the hardware? Well, that's the final lock-in, an always-on pipeline directly into OpenAI's world.
And what's the price tag for this level of ambition? Well, according to reports, OpenAI is planning to spend a staggering $1 trillion over the next 5 years. Just let that number sink in for a second. $1 trillion.
And when you see that $1 trillion spending plan next to their current revenue, which is around $13 billion, you realize this is not a normal business growth strategy. This is a geopolitical level bet. It's a plan that only works if they successfully capture a massive slice of the entire digital economy, from ad dollars to app store taxes to your shopping cart.
Okay, so why should you care about any of this? Well, because this strategy has some pretty profound consequences for every single one of us, every user, every developer, every business online. It really starts with this simple, brutal fact. In the world that OpenAI is building, the whole idea of a neutral platform is basically dead on arrival.
So from now on, every time an AI gives you a helpful suggestion, you have to remember it's also making a business decision. It's acting as a retailer pushing you toward Walmart. It's an ad network showing you the products it wants you to see. It's an app store promoting its friends. That helpful assistant? It has its own agenda. And that agenda is pointed directly at your wallet.
And what if you're one of the people building things on top of this new platform? Well, the analysis is blunt. You're not a partner. You're a tenant. You're living on OpenAI's land, and the landlord can change the rules or kick you out whenever they feel like it.
This is that vendor trap we were just talking about. Sure, developers get amazing access and an audience today, but what about tomorrow?
The moment OpenAI decides that your app's cool features should just be a native skill of the assistant, you're not competing anymore. You're being evicted. Your entire business can be wiped out just like that.
So this is the fundamental conflict, right? The public story is a nice one. It's about evolution, a cool little chatbot that grew up to be a tech giant. But the reality, when you actually look at the strategy, is a story of annexation, a calculated, coordinated grab for the web's most critical levers of power and control.
So let's bring this all home. What's the real bottom line here when you cut through all the hype and all the noise?
Here are the 3 things you absolutely need to take away from this. First, OpenAI isn't just competing in a bunch of markets, it's trying to become the market itself. Second, that helpful assistant is quietly positioning itself to be the new operating system for your entire digital life. And third, and this might be the scariest one, any bias, any flaw, any hidden agenda inside this one model could become the default policy for the whole internet.
Which leaves us with one last, really critical question. In this new world, where one company is trying to become the landlord of our digital lives, who gets to check the fine print? Who's providing any oversight? Who gets to audit the lease? Look, the web as we know it is being rebuilt right under our noses. The stakes could not be higher. You have to pay attention. Don't get played. If you want to stay ahead of what's really happening, make sure you like this and subscribe to WtT. We'll see you next time.